Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with another Noodle film review with my little Sullivan. Here he is. Oh, hello everybody. Here he is. Oh, isn't he beautiful, eh? Beautiful doggy. Got another little Noodle film review today. Today I'm looking at Gene Wilder's Haunted Honeymoon. You may remember I picked this up. What are you doing, mister? You're sitting on me thingy. I picked this up when I went to Stevenage on my little road trip. So I thought I'd give you a little review of it. This edition is just a standard Blu-ray edition, which is really cool. Nothing sort of like, you know, different about it. It's just normal Blu-ray. So I'm going to give you a little synopsis on the film. It starts off with a murder.
It's not what you think. Ugh.
So it starts off there with a murder there straight away, and then we see that there's some sort of somebody looking from the outside. We then cut to like a radio station where we meet our two main stars of the film.
Oh God, help me! Please! You can't be the man I'm about to marry. Don't tell me that my fiancé is...
Haunted Honeymoon, starring Larry Abbott, will continue after this news update. Stay tuned for the chilling conclusion of this week's Tale of Terror from Manhattan Mystery Theater. Don't touch that dial, folks. We'll be right back.
You're off the air.
So they're recording a show for the radio. Gene Wilder and is it Gilda Radner? She's awesome in this, by the way. That they're recording the show for the radio, and then after the show they get like a little press conference because they're both they're sort of like lovers outside of the show, and they're planning to get married.
What do you ask me, Mickey?
Right after he strangled me and cursed the mummy. Did you say yes right away? You bet your sweet patoot.
How do you spell patoot, Vicky?
Any way you like.
Taylor, you've been in an awful lot of shows that went bust the first month. So how's it feel to finally own a hit, huh?
I don't own her, boys. I'm just marrying her.
No, yeah, I mean the radio show.
I know what you mean. Sure, I'm on top of the world right now because I got the #1 show in the country. Well, that's just luck. But I'll tell you something. I'm head over heels in love with the best girl in the world. And that's not just luck. That's God smiling on me. When Vicky said yes to me, from the minute Vicky said yes,
He bought a double mattress and a new stove.
So after that little press conference, it's back to the sort of like the recording of the show, and just before they start, they're just testing the sound effect equipment, which seems to have some sort of effect on Gene Wilder.
That's fine, Eddie. 10 seconds, everyone.
So then they start to record the show, and like I said, it's had some sort of weird effect on Gene Wilder. He can't stop sort of like giggling.
seems so, doesn't it?
Listen to that wind.
It's frightening, isn't it?
What's he laughing at?
I don't know.
Is that the way you rehearsed it?
No, it isn't, but you know Larry.
Darling, I'm going to have a sherry. Oh, would you or wouldn't you like some?
Oh, I will. I will. Yes. I'll have some.
So the managers and the production team are quite worried about what she's laughing about. You know, they don't understand why. And then we're introduced to another character who walks into the room, says that he can help them.
Please come in. This is our sponsor, Mr. Tarlow. Charlie, this is Larry's uncle, the famous psychiatrist. I asked him to come here and meet you.
Well, will you please tell me what he's laughing at? This is supposed to be a mystery, not a comedy.
He's laughing because he's afraid, Mr. Torno.
Afraid?
Tomorrow, the same thing might make him cry.
That's what he did last week. For God's sake, what's he afraid of? Thunder and lightning? A wind machine? We have that stuff every week. Why now? We were #1.
Because 3 weeks ago, he got engaged to be married.
The curse of the mummy.
What's getting engaged got to do with it?
The engagement has opened a gigantic crack in his psyche. So hideous to Larry's mind that he must block it out.
So we're introduced to this guy. I can't remember his name. I'm sure his name's Paul Smith. And if I'm not wrong, he's in Pieces. I'm sure he's the one that plays the caretaker in Pieces. I'm not sure, but if he's not, he's his double. Anyway, he talks to the manager so that he can help them, but he needs to take him because they're going to go to like a castle where Gene Wilder's family live. There's like going to be a family reunion there. And when you go there, they're going to try and scare the life out of him pretty much to death.
To death.
Good God, you want to scare him more than he already is?
How do you cure hiccups, Mr. Tarlow?
What, you...
Listen to me. I've been working in Zurich with a brilliant scientist who has discovered the cure for Larry's condition. Dr. Strickland has proved that the cure is to increase the unbearable pressure of the fears, not to lessen it.
You mean like going faster on a dangerous curtain?
Exactly. This weekend, starting tonight, the entire Abbott family is gathering for the wedding at the estate of Larry's great aunt. We have him in an ideal situation. A lonely estate, miles from anywhere.
So they agree to let him do what he needs to do at the castle, the mansion, because they're going to try and sort of scare him to death. Now, there's a kind of a weird plot because they're trying to scare him to death, and there's another people trying to scare him to death, or actually trying to scare him to death because something to do with inheritance, which if you see the film, you will get hold of that. Anyway, we didn't cut to the couple on their way to the castle.
And then something sets it off and I'm scared to death.
Hey, 1 o'clock. So you acted nutty for a couple of shows. So what? You're still the best actor in New York. You still got the hottest show in the country. And best of all, you still got me. So listen, Cookie. If something scares you before Sunday, you just say, whoops, there goes my imagination again. How do you like that?
Think that'll work, huh?
Always and always rely upon me.
So they're on their way there, and we then cut to the castle, and we get to see a bit of the inside of the castle, which is quite cool. And we get to see a couple more characters of his family, and my favourite character in the film, Dom DeLuise, is there as well. It's fantastic.
Someone in this family is trying to kill me.
What? You don't know what you're saying.
Larry's the only one I trust. Please give me the pen. I haven't much time. They'll all be here any moment.
I love you, Kate. I respect you as if you're my own mother. Oh. You're the dearest person I know. I'd even die for you, Kate. But darling, never mind that I'm a member of the family. Before you sign, there's one thing you haven't considered.
What's that?
What if Larry dies before you do?
If Larry should die, you can all share the money equally, just as it was before. Francis, you're the only living person that knows I've changed my will. If you ever tell anyone, may your soul rot in hell.
Well, eventually Jean and Gilda arrive at the mansion, and she goes to knock on the door.
he said he grew up here. Oh, you know, he's just, you know him. He says maybe I'm at the wrong house. I can come back. Thank you.
Sorry, honey. Oh, I see you already met.
I'm Fister, the family butler.
Yes, and I am that little boy who used to bathe and tuck into bed and bring warm milk and cookies too, just before you kissed me goodnight.
May I have your name, please?
My name?
Is he kidding?
Come in, Mr. Kidding. I'll take the bags.
So we meet the sort of like butler there, who's really cool in the film as well, and he sort of greets them in, and they said he's hard of hearing, and he thinks they've said that she's hard of hearing. So every time the butler speaks to her, he shouts at her. It's hilarious. Anyway, he shows them to the room, and then there's another knock on the door, and the maid has to go and answer it.
Fister! Why are these windows still open? Do I have to do everything? Drunken sot! Hold your horses! Where's Fister? Where is he? Oh, I'm coming! Who are you? What do you want? This is just for the family. I don't know you. Why are you looking at me? What do you want? Are you selling something?
So here we go. Is another character, another family member turns up, and he appears to be some sort of like magician.
Have you got any luggage, sir?
Just this one case.
It's a large one, isn't it? Would you like me to help?
I prefer to handle it myself. Thank you.
We then cut to the love scene with Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner as they settling in the room.
If anything frightens you, anything at all, you just holler. I'll be right down the hall, okay?
Okay. Just practicing. I love you, Cookie.
See you in 20 minutes.
And Gene Wilder goes out the room and bumps into the butler. Now the butler recognises who he is.
About 15 minutes ago.
I wish I'd known. I would have greeted you myself.
Oh, yes, that would have been nice. Well, we can't have everything.
Come along, you're in your old room.
Oh, good.
What do you think, honey?
Wow, what a snappy little note.
Rachel, you're a sight for sore-eyed thing. Oh, Rachel. It's funny, she usually plants a big wet one on me whenever I get back.
I do not.
She must be shy. Rachel, I'd like you to meet a very old friend of mine from school, Sylvia Beach.
Pleased to meet you.
And once again the door goes and it's another member arrives, and it's Paul Smith. He arrives with his sort of like to the house where it's sort of like a family reunion. So he's arrived and he's walking, and it's really bizarre hearing his partner walking really sort of strangely, like it's almost like some fast forward. We then cut to Gene Wilder's room and he's in there, and someone locks the door behind him, and the snake, a cobra, sort of appears, and he starts screaming. So his partner and the other family member go to investigate what's happening in his room.
I can't just have vanished.
lives. Don't even raise your voices. There's a deadly snake in that closet. Call the zoo. Ask them if they're missing a 7-foot cobra.
Larry, I don't think...
Don't argue with me.
Hey, I'm steady.
Honey.
Larry, I'll take a look in the closet.
No.
Exactly what's
Listen
going
to me.
on.
Call the zoo.
Where'd you see the snake?
It was in the top drawer. Uncle Francis, I know my cobras. You'll be dead within seconds.
So then the family start to gather downstairs all together, sort of like probably for the dinner, and then Dom and DeLuise turns up to sort of greet them all.
Sin, laughter and sin. Wicked, blasphemous men with their painted women. They reveled in the joys of fleshly love. Oh, I can still hear the echoes of the past. Oh, what memories! Oh,
Hello, darling. And Kate, this is my fiancée, Vicky.
How you doing, Kate?
oh, charming.
So that's hilarious. So he's gone to meet them all, and so they're already there for whatever's going to happen, and that's all I'm going to tell you. I just wanted to give you a little synopsis of the introduction of the characters. There's another couple that for some reason I'm taking the clips, and that's Jonathan Pryce and his partner. They turn up as well. They're sort of like they're like Gene Wilder's uncle and that, and yes, and she's his ex-girlfriend or something like that. So this, and from that moment when they're all together, then all the capers begin, and there's a load of them. There's a load of sort of slapstick and capers and good jokes throughout the whole film. What do I think of the film? It's hilarious. It's a hoot. From the moment, the beginning of the film, straight through to the end, it's an absolute hoot. It's a fantastic film. There's just nothing, I just smiled all the way through it. Absolute real comfort film. It was just really good all the way through. The acting was spot on. The comedy was brilliant. Gene Wilder's directing, because he directed it, was also fantastic. He's directed the cast magnificently. It's very typical Gene Wilder. Absolutely great. And the story is really, really cool. So the pluses of the film, it's an amazing film. It's really funny. Good story. There's one set of people trying to scare him to death to try and help him for his radio show, and the others are trying to actually literally scare him to death to get him out of the inheritance run. And it's really cool. It's just so funny. Gene Wilder's fantastic in it. Gilda is amazing in it. She's brilliant in there. And Dom DeLuise he's iconic and legendary in the film. And it's such a big cast in there. You may recognise so many people in that film. It's such a massive cast, and it's so cool. The transfer is fantastic. The sound is brilliant. Negatives of the film, there isn't any. I'm not going to put negatives for the sake of it, so there's not. So as far as comedy is concerned, I'm going to score this an awesome watch and score it a 9 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. It is a classic Gene Wilder, and it's brilliant. If you're a big fan of Gene Wilder, you'll absolutely love this film. Really cool. If any of you've seen Haunted Honeymoon, let me know down below if you have and what you thought of it. I just thought it's fantastic. It is right up there with Young Frankenstein and his other comedy films. It's just perfect. It's just brilliant. He's a genius. He really was. It's so sad that we've lost him now. And in his latter years, he's suffered from illnesses. It's such a sad story, really, for such a genius. But if you look back on geniuses throughout history, it's quite common. Yeah, absolutely fantastic movie. Brilliant. Gene Wilder at his best. Guys, I'm classing this as a horror comedy. It's fantastic. So if you like your comedies a little bit spooky, then this is the one for you. It's awesome. Please go and check out some horror channels for me when you get a chance. Check out Horror Hands. Check out The Horror Geek and Man v Film. Check out Pizzlewell and I Am Ice Lord and RS Designs and Sarah of Horror. All amazing channels, guys. Please check them all out. Until next time, you look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you soon.